It's Thursday night. It is the Chiefs at the Broncos. And as you can see on my screen right now, I am joined by the professor, Brad Allen. How are you, sir?
Yeah, doing well, Sully. How are you?
Good. We got the memo on the blue shirts, which is good.
We did.
Okay. Neither team wearing blue tonight, but let's have a look at the betting. This is quite interesting, Prof, because the Kansas City Chiefs all of a sudden look kind of vulnerable. There we say it, but they are a 3-point favorite on the road in Mile High in Denver tonight. Money line, you can back them at 1.67. The Broncos at 2.46. As I said, the main handicap is 3, and the total is 48, slightly favoring the over. Prof, we recorded the main Matchbook NFL podcast last night. The whale, he likes the Chiefs. But you shook your head in total disagreement. You are very much on the opposite side of this one.
I think you've got to be a very brave man to back this Chiefs team on a short week. I'm just going to rattle off a few bits. Feel free to play devil's advocate, jump in, play the whale if you want, and
I'm not going to play the whale. No.
Try make the case. So. Well, let's start off with this injury report. This isn't really the Chiefs that we saw in the first month of the season. So Sammy Watkins out, Kendall Fuller, the slot corner out, Eric Fisher, the left tackle out, Chris Jones, key run stuffer out, Andrew Wiley out, Rashad Breeland questionable, Tyreek will play. How effective he'll be for a short week after his first game back. Again, a little bit of a question if you ask me. So. Yeah, it's all well and good to kind of have your ELO models, your ratings.
Did you mention Eric Fisher there? So he's questionable.
Yes. He's out.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, he's definitely out. Okay.
So this isn't the Chiefs team that we've seen. This is just a banged up unit, and I think it's more appropriate to take in the team, or price them as the team that we saw on Sunday, where they were comprehensively beaten. And it wasn't a surprise. They went off as 3.5-point favourites. They've got a strong home field, so the market thinks the market already thought they weren't very good. They're 0.5 point better than the Chiefs. And then Mahomes injured his ankle in that game, so we've got to downgrade them some more. So there's a few stats from this Sunday game and Mahomes. So before and after the Mahomes ankle injury, so he's hurt it in a couple of games now, tweaked it, and then he's come back in. So before any ankle injury, so this is Bill Barnwell's research, completion percentage 69.1% drops to 57.1, and yards per attempt 12.3 down to 6.0. His yards per attempt has dropped in half here. And then, so I don't think he's going to be that effective. What made him great is that the scheme works. The scheme works brilliantly. But again, we might be seeing that fall down a little bit. There's a lot of talk that teams are now playing them in man because the receivers are a little bit banged up, and we see it quite often. I think Andy Reid in September, he's like 15-0 against the spread, and then teams start to work out a little bit. A couple of years back, when he had Alex Smith, I remember the Steelers figured them out, I don't know, about week 7. And the fix then was everyone started playing them in cover 2. Well, it's kind of the opposite now. Now everyone's playing them in man. But there seems to be a little bit of a book out there on how to play them, especially if Mahomes can't take off and escape.
That is the main weapon they have, Brad, with that offense. When Mahomes gets outside of the pocket, he can do amazing stuff with his legs. But if he's immobile, and with defensive backs, generally if you hang on to the ball, it's harder for them to cover longer. But he has to get the ball out quicker because he has no mobility.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the danger of running man, is that all the players are downfield watching their man. Well, Mahomes can't take off now. And those yards per attempt, as I said, literally in half after these ankle injuries. So I don't think they will be the explosive, efficient offense that we've seen. And I think that the Broncos are quite well suited to play the game that other teams have played, this keep away ball. So the Texans last week had 40 minutes time of possession to 20. But it wasn't just that they had the ball the whole time. The Chiefs' points per drive, they've fallen from about 3.1 first month of the season down to about 1.8. So it's not just they're having fewer drives because the other team's keeping it away. They are less efficient as well. So the Texans, 35 first downs, 40 minutes, 4.7 yards per carry on 41 carries. And so just rushing the ball 54% success rate, as I say, close to 200 yards. So it's not just they're breaking off a couple of big ones. It is 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards. Yeah. They're just smashing through them. Part of that is the Chris Jones missing in the middle there. But then, so the Broncos coming here, they're, I think, 7th in the NFL in rushing success rate. 9th.
Prof, they've got to be one of the best 2 and 4 teams that we've seen. Sure.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I was on them a couple of weeks back, the Chargers, because they shouldn't have gone 0-4 out of the gate. They were, they lost 2 coin flip games in the last second field goals. And then they've come out and they've beaten 2 decent teams. They played well and beaten comprehensively. So 9th in the NFL offensive success rate. So again, it's kind of moving the chains. It's not necessarily explosive, although they do have a bit of that element with Sutton. And then rushing success rate 7th. So the Chiefs come in here, let's say, banged up. They played 87 snaps on defense last week against these Texans. As I say, just getting pounded 5 yards after 5 yards. Short week, thin air against another team that's going to do the exact same thing, missing your key defensive players. I think we could see almost a sort of mirror image of this game on Sunday with the Denver holding the ball for 35, 38 minutes and just grinding them into dust.
And we'll get to the running backs in a second, Prof. But I mean, if Carlos Hyde can do that kind of damage against Kansas City last week, then the tandem of Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman are going to do, in my opinion, untold damage here, because Denver, good defense, run the ball. It's very simple with them, but what they do well, they do well. And like I said, they are probably one of the best 2 and 4 teams I have seen, and they've just got a really good coaching setup. Prof, so just on the main ones here, what are we looking at? Denver +3, I'm thinking, or are you going to back them on the money line?
I think I would prefer the +3. Obviously, we missed the +3.5, but we'll take a little bit of extra insurance. Partially, I don't trust that Fangio is, he's not really got the killer instinct. He's a bit of an old-fashioned kick the field goal kind of guy. So I'd rather have a little extra buffer. And I do think it's likely to go under the total. It's going to be a bit lower scoring than his, 48 would suggest. So I'd rather have, those points are a little bit more valuable if we think they're going to be lower scoring. So yeah, I'll take the 3.
Take the 3, and if you want to get that hook, that 3.5, you can go to 1.77. But Prof, from 1.99 +3 to 1.77, it's a massive jump for that half a point. I don't think it's really worth it, is it?
There's online half point calculators if you want to go work it out. I think generally moving off the 3 is about 15 cents. So it's ballpark.
Okay. Before we move on to the player props, if you have watched us on the main podcast this week, you will have heard exciting breaking news from Matchbook HQ as we launch Aka's bets. Now, it won't apply to the game tonight, but on Sunday, if you're sitting down, you're watching Red Zone, you want to get involved, you want to pile up these favorites, like, let's be honest, Prof, the Buffalo Bills are going to win, the San Francisco 49ers are away at the Redskins, they'll probably win, and there's a couple more shorties there, so if you want to sit back and watch those 6 o'clock games or 9 o'clock games, that is now available on Matchbook, which is a brand new feature and one we're really, really excited about. Obviously, with the exchange, you get a hell of a lot good value. And shop around if you want. Shop around, look at your odds comparison, but I am willing to bet good money, Prof, and my money and your money that we will be best price on any of these ACCAs. Right, so let's move on to the player props. You are looking at 3 in total. Let's start with the Chiefs, and no surprise if we're fading the Chiefs in the main game. You're obviously fading the offense, especially in the props. Patty Mahomes is well known, 313.5 passing yards, Prof. 1.77 is the under. That means you're already after backing this.
Well, I mean, for the entire first 8 minutes, whatever, of this podcast, talked about how inefficient we think Mahomes is going to be, and 313 suggests there's almost nothing wrong with him. that line to me. So yeah, I think that's a nice.
I think it's supposed with him too, Prof. Like, I mean, you look at so many of these games the last couple of years. There's these big bang plays to Tyreek Hill that will get you 80 yards at the pop sometimes, and if that's not there, if that's taken away, and that Denver do kind of shorten this game and make him go the length of the field, then you just don't have that option. So also you're picking on this Chiefs side, and the one guy you want to pick on receivers wise is Travis Kelce, 77.5, and again the under has been backed here. I'm not naming any names here, Prof. 1.74 currently.
Yes, so Kelce kind of saw a drop-off in target share last week with Tyreek back, even though Tyreek only played like 55% of the snaps odd. He's still got 10 targets, and that pushed Kelsey down to 6 targets. So that alone is not going to get him to 77 here. Also, the Broncos have been pretty effective against opposing tight ends this year. Only one has gone over 45. That was Darren Waller of the Raiders, who basically gets like 40% target share, and he only got 70 yards. So I'm quite confident under 77 there.
And let's look at the one Bronco you want to do, Royce Freeman. Did I trade this guy to you in fantasy a couple of weeks ago? I think I did, didn't I?
You did, yeah. But he's still stuck on my bench.
52.5 at 1.77 your favourite in the over. And obviously, I think we touched on this, but let's give a small bit more of an explainer on it, why we're back in the over on Royce.
Yep, so Chiefs 31st in the NFL rushing defense, giving up 4 out of 5 of their last 5 games have seen a 100-yard rusher against them, and the one that didn't was 99 yards by the Oakland Raiders. That rookie, I've forgotten his name. And then, so I mentioned the Broncos rushing success rate, top 10 there, and Philip Lindsay here of the duo, he's kind of seen as the better player. He probably is the more efficient player, but it's a very even split. So Lindsay 17 touches last week, Royce Freeman 16. And it's been pretty much that way all season, a snap or two in it. And obviously, Lindsay here, he's up at 67, 70 odd, isn't he?
Must be, yeah. So he's 69, I think, isn't he?
Yeah. So
69 and a half.
It's kind of an extra 18 yards for possibly one snap difference. So I prefer Royce Freeman here. I think
the reason for that, you look at a lot of Lindsay's, he's just maybe that bit more explosive. Yeah. When he does break the tackles, he can kind of go for a bigger one, whereas Freeman is more kind of, move the chains, a short yardage kind of thing. But yeah, I can see the guy 17 yards of a difference. I think either one of them over Prof isn't a bad bet.
Yeah, no, it's probably not. I would say perhaps like the way the Texans used Carlos Hyde last week, he's kind of that first down picker-upper, if you know what I mean. Yeah. He's a success rate rather than an explosive runner. And Royce Freeman of these two is more the grinder. So I wonder if he might get a little bit extra play, given the way they want to play the game.
Yeah, they want to shorten this.
Yeah, exactly. Either way. So if we're saying 15 carries, even at 4 yards a pop, he's clearing this line nice and easy. So, yeah, I think that's a good bet.
Good, man. So just introducing a small new section to our Thursday night previews. I'm going to give you a mythical £10 free bet, Prof. I don't have the cash on me at the moment. I'll probably owe it to you. But let's look at the touchdown scores. Obviously, at Matchbook, if you sign up today, you get a £10 risk-free bet. So generally, when I have these risk-free bets, you don't put them on, a line here. You don't put them on a 1.9 shot. You look for something 10, 20 to 1 kind of thing that we're looking at. So, Prof, we've looked at the touchdown scorers. What do you think? Because we chatted off air. I think you're going to take my one as well. So, go on, make the case.
Well, yeah, it's going to be Freeman again. So, kind of mentioned he's going to get half the snaps at running back and should be efficient. People might scratch their chin a little bit. I think he's got 0 touchdowns this year, so while we're backing him first touchdown scorer for Mr. Freeman, but he's had 11 red zone touches, 5 inside the 10. That tells me there's some touchdown.
That's why you should be starting him in fantasy. I'm not playing you this week, so I'm just advising you.
I'm up to 2 and 4, Sully. I'm beginning the long claw back.
A wild card spot is probably your best hope from now, mate. Yeah, so look, I kind of like that. I think you look at a couple of these prices, and for the Chiefs side of things, Sean McCoy is exceptionally short, I think, at 9.5. Your one there, Royce Freeman, nice price, 14.5 for a 10 risk-free bet. That's not bad at all. And, when you look at the Chiefs running backs especially, you always look at running backs generally with these markets. They've split the time between Damian Williams and Sean McCoy and Darnell Williams, so it's hard to know where they're going to go. And even Tyreek Hill at 9.0, I think, one I like, Noah Fant at 21.0. I think the Chiefs are kind of vulnerable there against tight ends. We saw it last week. Darren Fells of the Texans got a lot of catches, and the Texans are generally not a team who use tight ends. So give me Noah Fant for my risk-free bet at 21.0, Prof. How about a price
nice.
for that? There you go.
It.
And that offer, the £10 risk-free bet, is for new customers only. So unfortunately, if you have a Matchbook account, you can't get that. If your first bet loses, we will refund you to stake of a max of £10. Bet must be placed within 7 days. The sign-up game is tonight, so that's all good. And you must be 18 plus, and please do gamble responsibly at all times. Prof, the best bet on the card for tonight. If I do give you only one bet, and I know, sir, you will probably play more than one bet, but if I only had to give you one.
One bet, I will take the Broncos +3.
I'm with you. Broncos +3. Universal agreement. Love it.
Happy days.
Simple game. Happy up. Take that home underdog. Take that underdog on the short week. Right, that's it from us. We will be back next Thursday. Any ideas what we're previewing next Thursday, Prof? We looked ahead?
Nope.
You haven't? No, I
No.
haven't. Trying to get through.
It's Vikings Redskins is what it is, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
or is it that nice? Yeah, trash. But look, we'll find something. We'll find something. We missed last week, so we'll try to get it back on board. Thanks for watching today. Best of luck at your Thursday night bets. And don't forget, obviously, like we said before, check out the main Matchbook NFL podcast. We have, I think it's about 11 or 12 bets. Prof, we previewed 12 games, giving our best bets. A lot of good fun as ever with me, the Professor Brad Allen, the Whale Capper, Drew Dinsick, and Adam Chernoff. Best of luck tonight. Go Broncos.